Hello, everyone. So, I want to just talk about, I'll give you a bit of backstory here, so just bear with me 2 seconds. So, first of all, you probably have heard it before that I did suffer with anxiety. I was diagnosed with anxiety back a good long time ago at this stage. Of course, with dyslexia and stuff, it does affect other parts of the brain. It's not just reading and writing. It is that, of course, but there's other aspects that can lead to more depression. More people with dyslexia have more can get depressed more easily, etc. than only people, etc. We're not going to all the terminology and the whole logic behind it all, but it does happen. It can happen, and it's very prone in people with dyslexia too. And of course, I went through tough times when I was younger, and thankfully we're over that hill, thankfully. But the thing about it is, and what to say to people, this is my main message, particularly to young people, to always take a compliment. If somebody compliments you, and this was the thing I was guilty of for so long, I never would take a compliment from somebody. I never would. I never would say, "Oh yeah, if you did something well, or teach, or even if in general too. If somebody said, "Well done, you did well," I was like, "Oh sure." Irish people are like, "Oh sure, look at." I done my best and sure look at. That's what Irish people usually have. But it's important to take it in the course because it does help a person, even if you're not anxious or I suffer from anxiety and other things. It does help you a bit. It does help you gain confidence. It does help you gain strength, and it's important in the modern world, particularly more than when I was growing up and stuff. But it's particularly important now for young people to gain confidence in themselves because a lot of them are very unsure, and particularly with the events around them, etc., and social media and stuff, people are very unsure what to think and what to think of themselves. And that's what I say to young people: always take a compliment, regardless of who it is giving it to you. Always take a compliment and be proud of yourself when you do something good and you do something that you're proud of. Always be proud of yourself for it, because for too long too, I never was proud of myself. I never would say I did well, and I think it's important. Not even with somebody example of suffers from anxiety, even older people too, and with depression and with other stuff, to always acknowledge that you did well. If you did something well and you done good, always acknowledge it. Always acknowledge it. And I think it was always my worst enemy in a way too. And I generally do think that I was always my worst enemy because I never would say I did well. I never would want to gloat, and it's important too, in a way, to gloat about yourself too. I know that sounds a bit off, but you don't see me gloating every 5 minutes a day. I'm not perfect. I will admit that. I think we all are not perfect, but it's important to be proud of yourself because if you do something well and you've conquered a mountain that you thought was unconquerable, or if you thought you couldn't conquer this, or you couldn't climb this mountain, or you couldn't climb this career path, or go to college, or do this, or do that, or do the other, you can always do it. If there's a will, there's a way, and it's important to have the mindset. It's not about anything else. It's the mindset, and how you do that is by encouraging yourself. You have to encourage yourself first of all to believe in yourself. Of course, believe in other people around you have to believe in you too. And of course, the parents are the number one people that believe in you, of course, along with your siblings, etc. But it's important to encourage yourself too to get there. But just speaking, even just recently, and I do think I've done very well. And to be totally honest, I never you can go through hundreds of videos of mine, hundreds of videos of mine. I'm very proud of myself, and I will explain why now in a second. So as you can see, and I'm sure you probably have heard the story 100 billion times, but it's a positive, it's something positive to talk about, and it's good to talk something positive because there's too much negativity in the world. And unfortunately, that's just the thing, but it's always important to find the positives and find something positive to stick to it, something to look forward to, something to a good memory and stuff to get you through the day, because that's what gets people. It's the good memories, it's the days that you could have, better days that to come. But yeah, I met Zana Mao, the former Finnish Prime Minister. Now, I talk just in general, just for a second too. Um, for somebody that suffers with anxiety and stuff, you could never imagine meeting your heroes and stuff like that. I never could imagine meeting my hero. But not even that too. It's difficult for people with dyslexia too, to meet somebody that you look up to and stuff, particularly with special needs and stuff. It was a quite emotional moment, but it's a human moment. I think that's the main thing about it. Is it's a human, and it shows that you have emotions and you have feelings. But not even that too. I think I've done very, very well, and I will admit that. I will admit that. I never would admit it before that I did well. When I did something well, I never would say I did well. But I know some people say that's self praise and stuff, and self praise is no praise, as the old saying was. But it's important to praise yourself because when you do something well and you do something that you never thought that could happen, or you never thought you had the courage or the strength to achieve, I 5 years ago, probably even 6 years ago, I couldn't have met Santa. To be totally genuinely honest with you, my nerves would have been just gone. My anxiety would have killed me. Even though I was a bit anxious, I admit that. But I'm proud of myself that I was able to have a conversation. I was proud of myself that I was able to meet her. Proud of myself that I had the courage and the strength to go up to her, etc., and talk to her. But what I'm trying to say is, be proud of yourself when you conquer them mountains, because you know, it was big. It was a big step forward. It was a big step forward. It was, and even just YouTube in general. I will admit, particularly if you look back at my history when I was younger. Obviously, I was the odd one out in national school, so I didn't really make any friends and stuff. I was kept back a year. And other stuff, my mental health struggles and stuff when I was younger too. But I have to say I'm proud of myself for getting through all that. And I said it over in Finland. I think somebody asked me on a live stream when I was over in Finland in November, just afterwards, would my children be proud of me? And I will still remember that to this day. I don't think I ever will have any children, but what I'm trying to say is, I do think they would be, because I think I done well. Be totally inside. Didn't do everything perfect. I will admit that I'm not. Nobody is perfect. We can never do. We all make mistakes in life. We all make mistakes, but we can become better people by making them mistakes, and it shows us that we are human. And I think Sanna Marin's quote is the best. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Let it go. Let it go. It's in the past. If you make a mistake, say yes to it. You said something to your friend that you probably shouldn't, or you said it through anger or something. Let it go. It's in the past. Move on. Don't concern. Don't worry about it. That's the main thing. What is in the past is in the past. Don't worry about it. And I think that's the best way to look at it. Like, if you make a mistake, let it go. Don't worry about it. Don't get too upset about it, worked up about it. Because the past is the past and the future is the future. Look forward to the future. Don't look back in the past. And I think for me particularly, when I was younger too, when I had my mental health struggles, I was too busy looking back in the past. I was too busy having my head in the past more than head in the future. And of course, it's good to look back on good memories and stuff, and look back on gooder times or better times or easier times or whatever you want to phrase them. But it is important to look forward to the future, and of course take inspiration from the past too, in some cases. But I did well. I have to admit, I generally did well, and that's like, even some of my teachers, if I met them now and heard me say that. Like, I remember 3 or 4 times my teacher saying it to me when I was in secondary school, that I'm my worst enemy in a way. But I will admit I was often very hard on myself. Still to this day I'm very, very tough on myself. But you have to be tough on yourself too, because you have values, and that's the thing. And I suppose I have a conscience, and I think that's the main thing. I have a very, very, very vulgar conscience that would destroy me if I did something wrong. But yeah. But it's important to have a conscience, and it's important to have values. But of course, don't judge yourself too hard. That's what I say to people. Because if you judge yourself too hard, particularly when I was young, I judged myself too hard over things. And I shouldn't have. You would drive yourself mad judging yourself. Should I have done this differently? Should I have done that differently? And as Sanna Marin has said it, it's in the past. Don't worry about it. Let it go. I think that's the main thing. Don't worry about it. That's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I think she's right. Whatever about anything else, she is right in that too, along with other stuff, of course. But I do think it's important. I do think it's for me too. Even just speaking, I interrupted myself earlier on in terms of YouTube and stuff. Like, it was a big step for me. First of all, I did suffer from acne, which is basically spots and stuff. A lot of teenagers and stuff did it, but when I first started YouTube, I was afraid to show my face and stuff, and I will admit that to people. I was insecure about myself in a lot of cases too. But nowadays I couldn't give a shit, to be totally honest. As long as I look some way presentable in some cases. That's all that matters. I couldn't care less after that, because it doesn't matter if it's irrelevant. Who cares? It's what's in the inside that matters. What's in your heart and your soul. That's what matters more than what you wear, what you look like. It doesn't matter. That is irrelevant to anything. But yeah, it was difficult and stuff, particularly with dyslexia and stuff. It wasn't easy. It's still not easy to this day too, being a YouTube, because the grammar and stuff is atrocious, and writing comments and stuff. But let that go. It's just you do your best, and that's all you can do. But yeah, I did well. I will admit that I did well. And I did well, because a lot of young people, particularly, wouldn't have stood on their values, and I think that's the main thing I'm very more proud of than ever, that I stood up and still, like after meeting Santa Marin, more than ever. I'm determined to stand up for my values, and I'm determined to stand up for what I believe in. And I think that's the main thing. And I have to say I'm very proud of myself, because I could have took the easy option. Got a big government job in Dublin and sat down and done nothing, on hundreds of thousands a year. But I chose the other option, to stand up for what I believed in, and stand up for what I knew my heart was right in myself. And I think that's the main thing too. And I have to admit, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that I spoke the truth, and I spoke what I felt, and I spoke what I felt in my bones, in my body, in my soul. And I think that's the main thing too. But long story short, and I don't mean to gloat again, I'm the least gloated person if you ever see my live streams or anything. I'm very honest with people, I'm very open with people. I'm not, and I'm never really like taking, oh yeah, I'm the best and stuff. I never go around saying that. Because we are not all the best, but we can always be more. Of course, we can always do more, but we're good enough, and that's what I say to people: we're good enough. You might have flaws here and there, but the thing about it is, if you believe in yourself and you know you can do it, and you have the will, go for it. Whatever it is, go for it. Don't let anxiety conquer you. Don't let fear conquer you. Above all else, that's what I've learned from meeting Santa Marin. The main thing is, don't let fear conquer you. And I think for too long, anxiety is about fear, and that's what it is. The very definition of anxiety is about fear. It's the fear of not knowing what's going to happen. It's the fear about being around people. It's the fear about going into environments that you're not unsure of. Take for example, new school, new workplace and stuff like that, even your old workplace and stuff. It's just you're insecure too. You feel like the world is against you. You feel like there's a weight on your shoulder. You feel like there's pounding pressure on your soul. And it's easy to say, but over time things will change. It takes time. These things take time to get better, to learn how to cope. But it's about learning how to cope, and it's about taking pride in yourself above all else. I think that's the main thing too. But yeah, so long story short, I'm very proud. I have to say, this is one of the generally one of the the greatest moment of my life. I will admit that. Because I'm proud of myself, because I know for a fact, and I said this already, that I couldn't have done it 5 years ago, couldn't have done it 6 years ago, I couldn't have done it as it was that, I couldn't have went up to but I'm very proud that I did, and I'm very happy that it was a great conversation, and she's an amazing person. I do take Santa Marin myself too. You reading a book and Hope in Action, sponsored by the way, that she said about too, when she first got active, she was very nervous and very anxious, and that's understandable when you were speaking to the crowds and stuff. It's understandable, 100%. You would be lying if you said you weren't nervous and anxious. I think we all would be, but even when I'm a YouTube and stuff, it's you do get anxious and stuff. Of course, that can happen, but you get used to it over time. Time is a great healer. But anyway, I think I've yapped on for enough today. But I do think it's important, for particularly with society, that you conquer your anxiety, and that you find ways of conquering it, and you work and you take pride in yourself. I think that's the main thing. Anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more. Bye.